Hello, welcome back to my Japanese learning series. This is the second update video. I'm really excited to show you what I found for Immersion, so let's jump right in. For my time tracking, I ended up with 65 hours roughly, 32 of which are Immersion, which is about half. Then we have 19 hours in Anki. We have another 7 hours for Tae Kim, which allowed me to finish up the entire book. We had 4 hours for pitch accent tests and looking into pitch accent. I spent about 2 hours and 15 minutes on flashcards, but I think it's a little bit mixed up with Tae Kim. That's it. For Immersion, I started with podcasts in the first week because I was editing this video and I didn't have time to set up any subtitles for anime. And yeah, it's mostly the same as before. It's still difficult to focus. I don't understand a lot, but it's gotten better. It's good because you can still do it while doing something else, but obviously you get sidetracked and stuff. So I prefer anime at the moment because it's a story that I know and I have aha moments where I can track or like connect individual conversations to story points in the story, and I can understand what they're talking about and guess what the sentence means even if I only know 10% of the words. So yeah, anime was my main means of immersion this month. I started in the first week of April, but I didn't have Japanese subtitles at first because Crunchyroll doesn't have Japanese subtitles by default. But still, it was still fun because I knew the plot, but I still wanted subtitles like I said in my plans for last month. So I found Manabi Dojo, a Chrome extension, after a little bit of search, and it is very comfortable. It's easy to install, it has nice features, it's very customizable, it seems fairly unknown, but it has like a lot of outright supported shows which have like automatically loaded subtitles, and the subtitle files are, I think, probably hand-picked, so they're good subtitle files. But even not supported shows can have automatic subtitles with like dissection into words, because Manabi Dojo also has a built-in dictionary, which I try to not use too much because I pick up most of my words through Anki, but sometimes I'm like, okay, well, based on the context, this should mean response. And then I click on the word and it just tells me what it is. It's not always 100% accurate, and the dissection is sometimes a little bit off, I feel like, but it's still really, really good. The only issue I've had so far was that Manabi Dojo has like a feature where you can navigate between lines of spoken dialogue with like your like A, D, and R, and that sometimes doesn't work, which kind of made me realize that I kind of use that a lot. But yeah, having the subtitles is amazing because I pick out a lot more words that I have learned through Anki. Even if it's verbs that are conjugated, I still know that I should know that word. One funny story is that I learned shiawase. Pitch accent is totally wrong, I haven't looked it up, which is Japanese for happiness. And I learned it in Anki on the day that I was watching the second season of Horimiya, and I finally decided to add the Horimiya opening to my openings playlist. So when I looked it up, I'm like, wait a minute, I should know that word. So yeah, now shiawase is very easy for me, and I can recognize it almost instantly. Yeah, one goal while watching anime was for me to find an anime that I can watch over and over again, at least a couple of times, so I become familiar with the material. And at first I started with Horimiya, which is not supported, but it has automatic subtitles. So Manabi Dojo looks through certain websites and looks if it can find a good subtitle file for this exact episode, and that works really well with Horimiya. I've actually never had it that it didn't find a file for Horimiya. For other shows, you have to pick it manually and then kind of tune the offset a little bit, but then it still works perfectly. And so I watched Horimiya at first, but then I wanted to test out a supported show that is slice of life that I've already seen, so I picked Fruits Basket. I'm done with that now, and I haven't really found too many differences between the two subtitles or styles. The only thing is that for Fruits Basket, they include like the name of the speaker if there's multiple speakers in one line. And sometimes in Horimiya, there's like a bunch of duplicated lines, which really doesn't matter too much because you don't see them anyway. So far, I found Horimiya easier to understand, at least the first couple episodes. So I'm probably gonna stick with that for now, watch it a couple times over, and it's also really fun. Halfway through April, I decided to increase the immersion goal. So I increased it to 1.5 hours, but I eventually want to increase it to 2 hours or even more. And one thing that I found is that I kind of procrastinate a lot. That's one downside to watching anime, because you have to do it actively, which you can see here, because I have to watch 1.5 hours to keep up like my streak in Toggle Track. And I start at like a minute before 10:30 p.m. So I kind of dropped the streak a couple of times because of that. So in the future, when I'm better at Japanese and listening to podcasts becomes easier, I will definitely do that, because I can use my time so much more effectively and I can get more than 2 hours per day. For the rest of Tae Kim, I sometimes spend the usual hour to take notes. But I wasn't too keen on doing it because I already realized that I'm not keeping too much of what I learned. Also, it was at the very end of the book, so it was stuff that I can't use anyway for now. But anyway, my notes ended up being around 48 pages. For practicing pitch accent, I continued like normal for almost 2 weeks because I was kind of busy. And I picked up watching Logan's playlist at the end of the second week again. For the tests, I am hovering around 91 to 92% consistency, but there's like 1 to 2 or sometimes more careless mistakes that I could definitely avoid. Sadly, I don't know what happened, but I kind of forgot to do pitch accent tests for a while. I haven't done them in 2 weeks, so I'll definitely pick them up again because I want to get to that 100%. I was kind of stagnating, but it's probably normal because progress is quickest at the start. When watching Dogen's playlist, he talked about getting visual and audio representation at the same time. So what he means by that is like the pitch accent notation and an audio clip at the same time. So you learn both things simultaneously. In the future, you only hear the audio, you can know what the pitch accent is or would be. And then the other way around, if you don't have the audio and just the pitch accent notation, then you would still know how to pronounce it. Then he, somewhat recently, I think like 3-4 months ago, he launched a service called Immersion, which has like a bunch of drills where you can compare your pitch accent to the pitch accent of native speakers, somewhat live. It looks pretty cool. The drills are pretty fun, but understandably, the service isn't free and I'm broke, so I probably won't do it, on top of the fact that I said I was going to do a silent period. I'm really happy to say that a viewer actually suggested a resource, which is Wanikani, which I think is also from Tofugu. He said that it's for learning readings of different kanji. I haven't been able to test it last month, but I will definitely include it in this month. I told him that I really enjoy the moments where I can understand the meaning of a kanji, and then I don't even have to know a word completely or how it's read to know kind of what it means. So I will check that out and see what it's about, see if I like it, and then stick with it. Probably in the second week of immersion, because this week I'm obviously doing the video and I don't have that much time. Talking about Anki. For the normal Anki flashcards, it's mostly going the same as before. I still have some issues with some words, but there's more kanji like ima from last month that I really like because they give me the kind of a sense what the word is about, which would be an encompassing entirety, something along those lines. And then I've encountered more words that have the same hiragana but different pitch accent, like kami and kami, or kata and kata. So I kind of pay more close attention to the pitch accent now, but I haven't decided on whether I should take pitch accent as a criteria for whether I got a flashcard right or wrong. There's some kanji that really confuse me, like this family of kanji. I confuse them all the time. It's kind of annoying. There's also some words that have like very minor differences in hiragana, like which would be cool to see side by side, but I'm kind of always too lazy to do that, so I can see the difference. And also the 20,000 different versions of to see or to hear, to ask, whatever, it's too much. I was actually also able to learn some words through the example sentences from the flashcards before I actually got them, like asa for morning, because it's in asa gohan, or it's used for kesa, and that kind of already gave me a sense of what the kanji means, so I knew what it would be. And I realized that I might have to take a look at pronunciation, because there's specifically one word where it's pronounced in a way that I've never heard anywhere else. When the word is said as an example in isolation after you click OK on the flashcard, the speaker says thomo thomo with TH.
Thomo thomo.
But then in the example sentence, they say somo somo.
彼はそもそもこの仕事に向いていない。
So that kind of confuses me, but I probably hopefully pick it up through Immersion. Now, as I planned on doing in last month's video, I started with making grammar flashcards, and I went with 5 flashcards per day, but obviously the volume of what is in those flashcards varied greatly. I might actually do less in the future because it's a lot. I don't think I could, like, with the pace that I'm going right now, it would take me 60 days of making flashcards to get through the entire book, which to me kind of seems like it's way too quick. I included it in the Anki time this month, which is why I have spent so much time with Anki, because it's like an extra 20 minutes. For the most part, everything with grammar was pretty okay. I just have, like, I don't understand the use of the note particle because there's way too many. Every time I see it, I have no idea what it means. Finally, talking about my plans for next month, they are fairly straightforward. I'm just gonna continue with Anki like normal, 10 words per day. Continue with grammar, which I also kind of dropped midway through because I was very busy. I wouldn't pick up pitch accent again. Look at Wanikani, like I said. Test out podcasts again to see if they've become any easier to focus on now that I know twice as many words and I have a lot more experience with immersion. And then finally, I want to increase immersion time, or the daily goal for immersion, to 2 hours if I find that podcasts are suitable. Yep, and that's it for this month's update. I hope you found something interesting. I really love Manabi Dojo. I can really recommend it if you want to try that. It's so customizable. It's awesome. It's so easy to install. And I'm sorry that I wasn't able to try out the resources that got recommended to me right away. I'll do my best to give it a good shot this month. And anyway, I hope you guys have a great month, and I'll see you in 4 weeks.